Hello everyone, this is Tabletop Simulator, and what we have here is a very busy table. I'd like to show you just how easy it is to keep all of this organized. Role-playing games, board games. This is a D20 system with 5 player stations on the outside of the table, and at the far end we have the DM station. I'm down here at Tussel's end of the table, a little assassin in our D20 system. And in terms of keeping things organized, like your dice, let's go ahead and just bounce those around. In this case, we have some disciplines, lock picking, spelunker. We have magic items. They just snap nicely onto this grid to keeping organized, easy to find, easy to take care of. And your dice, when you're done with them, a quick tap of the clear button and some easy scripts, and they jump right back to their home positions. So down here, if we want to get into a little bit of action, I'm going to go ahead and take this world map off of our table, but it's nice to have there for the players to get a sense of where they are when they first start. I'll come down to the DM side of the table, and I'm going to go ahead and change out this image. And on one of my cards here, I just keep some of my tabletops. I'm going to copy that URL and place it onto the table. And I'm going to have myself, I'm going to go ahead and just put in a forest here. Let's put in a forest. But it's just a little green background for us to be able to play on. And I'm going to add some hexes to that. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and go with one of the biggest hex sizes. So we have some hexes dropped over to this little green background, and I'm going to go ahead and bring some NPCs into play. So right now I have a bag with my NPCs. I have a Mantis, a pirate, and his first mate Vex, and a crewman here. I'm going to drop them onto these DM stations. So let's get Mantis out here first, and he's going to pop around a little bit, but eventually come to settle. We have his stats. We have any notes about him. We have his abilities. Looks like he's got some sprinting and some knocking people prone. Let's go ahead and throw Vex out here. And then we're going to go ahead and take this crewman, put him on the 3rd DM station. We have 4 more DM stations there inactive. Now, in order to bring Mantis into play, we're just going to push his button here, and we'll do the same thing with Vex. But with our crewman, we're going to want more than one of these guys. So we're going to go ahead and hit his button a couple of times. So now we have 3 crewmen. Well, now that shows on my DM card here that I have 5 active units that I've just brought into play, and I can access those units by clicking on them directly. And I target Vex, I target a crewman, I target Mantis, or I can roll through my crewman here and just looking for any given unit. Or I can come through all of my units with a cycle, or I can just cycle through my active units. Now, as my units take their actions, so let's say Vex comes in and she takes her action and her movement, she's removed from my cycle list. But we still have Mantis available, but let's say Mantis isn't really going to join into the battle, so we're going to mask him out of the battle for right now. Now I only have 3 active units. I can still cycle through anybody, I can still target anybody I want, I can see that Vex has taken her action and move, but for right now we have 3 active units. And let's go ahead and take these units and say that he used his move, and then this one used his action and move. That leaves us 1 active unit. And we're going to send him on down to Tussel's into the table to interact with her. And I'm going to bring my DM station or card along with me so that I can interact with this situation. So let's go ahead and switch to Tussel's color first. As you do that, I'm going to switch over to red because that's where she's sitting. You're going to see that her name appears here. I'm going to go ahead and clear that right off. It's pretty simple to do. You just go right there. But I want to interact with these objects. So we have Tussle right now, and she's going to target onto this crewman. So she's targeted onto crewman D, and that presents right here on her targeting card. Shows her that she's targeted on crewman D. He has 28 defensive points. He has 3 points of mitigation. So I'm going to go ahead and take an action. Well, I'm not going to go into the details of how our D20 system works, but let's just say she rolls and she scores a hit. I'm going to look at her actions, and let's say she's going to do Pounce that has a power of 14. In our case, a 14 power does 4d6 plus 4. So I'm going to go ahead and input that right into my calculator. Is going to show 4d6 plus 4, and it's going to roll those dice when I click that button. So I've got my dice rolled, ready to go. I'm targeted on crewman D. For now, let's go ahead and switch back over to our DM and say that our DM was last targeted here on Mantis, and he's ready to interact with Tussle. So Tussle's in Station 4, player Station 4. So as a DM, I'm going to grab what she did. I'm going to get Station 4. It immediately gets me her dice. It shows me her total. It puts her dice away for her and shows me that she did 18, but this crewman's got a mitigation of 3. So we'll negotiate that mitigation, bringing her total damage down to 15, and then we'll go ahead and minus it from the crewman's hit points. That is immediately reflected on the miniature, as well as Tussle's targeting card. She can see exactly what she's done. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and say that she's going to pin this unit as well. But before we do that, we're going to say that she did indeed do an action, and she did indeed do some movement. As I slide these out there, you're going to see that immediately Tussle is showing that I'll take her action back. There's the capital A, the capital M. It's showing me right away in terms of keeping things organized. Tussle's taken her actions. But let's go ahead and look and say there's a few more players involved. I'm going to rotate through my active players. Presently, the active players are down here at the end. We have Erie. She's active, but let's say that we're going to mask her out of this for now. And we only have Graybeard and Tussle are our only active players. As we can see, the A and the M are showing that Tussle's already taken her action and move, but Graybeard over here has not. So let's go ahead and take a look over here at Graybeard, and let's bring him into the mix and say he's attacking as well. Maybe he's got a nice long-range shot, and he's going to go ahead and slide out his action and his move. And as you can see, then on the card, it's showing that his moves have been taken as well. So all of that has been being tracked by the phase keeper here at the end of the table. As you can see, we're in phase 4 of this particular battle, and let's say that's when Tussle was going to hit her pin. So now we're going to go ahead and take our unit, the crewman D, and it's our only active unit, and we're going to go ahead and pin him down. And as soon as we do that, it shows that he's pinned until the 3rd phase of next turn, and that will automatically come down during that situation when that time arrives. But over here, we can see that Tussle's showing that indeed that crewman has been pinned. If we come over here, well, actually I was going to show you Graybeard's card, but I don't want to switch to his color right now. So let's just stick with this side of the table. And let's go ahead and negotiate the DM's turn onto Tussle. So we have our crewman here, and again, without going into details of the D20 system, let's say Tussle is unable to defend, and she is hit, and let's say that, so I'm going to target my player Tussle, and let's say since she's a little squirt, let's just go ahead and hit her for a 6 power, and I'm going to roll those dice. Now those dice are going to roll wherever my DM card is, and so the DM's dice are stored back here, but as I roll those dice, they're going to jump into play right here, and as I get that value, they're going to go ahead and put themselves home. But what I've ended up with is I've ended up with the roll of 9 against Tussle, and I'm going to take it right off of her hit points. As I do that, it's immediately taken off of her miniature, but it's also shown here on her character sheet, so she can also see that she's in trouble. So let's go ahead. We can add a couple, minus a couple. There she sits with her damage on her and ready to go. So all of that is very easy to keep track of using these visual objects and scripts. And when it's all said and done, all we're going to do down at this end of the table is we're going to say to the DM is done with this turn. So you see we've got our chips out there active. Let's go ahead and say there was some defense going on, and when I'm all done, I push this button and everything jumps back to its home. Again, very simple to take care of. Everything's very neat and clean and organized. And looks like I didn't do a very good job of putting it onto the table when I first started, but now let's just show you one more time wherever I happen to have put these chips. If I let me just slide these down a bit, and then say that we take our actions. As the DM advances the round, all of those chips are going to return right back to wherever they were. So in terms of organization, you just can't beat it. You just can't do that with a pencil and paper. It would take you forever to get most of this stuff done without this virtual environment. So there we have some simple combat, but I want to show you some sets that your players might be able to interact in. I'm going to go ahead and take these pirates off the table, but let's just give Tussle the benefit of the doubt and say she won the fight. So as I attack the crewman, he is reduced into a puddle of blood and bones, and Tussle was really on a rampage. We're just going to have her just run through and just kill everybody. And I'm going to take all these bones off the table. I'm going to take Graybeard home as well. And now we have a blank table. And I want to show you a little bit about sets. So right now I have a set, by the way, of Lakeside Inn. It has a URL suggesting what kind of table I should have down, but it just so happens it's a forest, and I already have that on my table. So I'm going to take this this set, and I'm going to drop it onto my stage over here. So if I grab this set, drop it right here, it immediately begins to propagate all of the objects onto this table. And so we're ready to interact with it and play with it with our characters. So here we have this nice little, largely a two-dimensional set with a lot of three-dimensional pizzazz added. We've got some little light stairs, all very representative of what you might want to play in, but not getting in the way. There's plenty of visibility, yet there's some nice 3D feel to it. These hexes are cast right down onto the rock, so if you want to have some interaction with this rock that maybe give you some movement modifiers, you've got your hexes ready to go and interact with this nice little 3D set in this 2D environment. I'm going to bring this home, and let's just say we're done with that set for right now. You can just pick that bag right back up, drop it onto the set, and just as easy as it came in, it's gone, and you're ready to start your next scene. So finally, what I want to show you is a shipwreck scene here. Again, this bag has a URL on it for its suggested tabletop, and I'm going to drop that down onto our table. And so there we have a 2D shipwreck. And what I've done ahead of time is cropped out some of this 2D elements, this bow, the broken back into the ship, this ramp right here, some of these rocks, and I've taken and I've made tokens out of them and put them into a bag, my set bag. So right now what I have is a nice 2D flat environment for the players to play in, yet what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this shipwreck set, drop it down onto the stage, and immediately we have all of those elements propagating, as well as some monsters that are still up in the air, and here they come, they fall down. So in this particular time, I had some monsters in the bag as well. Not only do I have some monsters out in the field of battle, but I have my monsters here ready to be put onto my DM stations. So just as easy as we put the pirates down, we're going to drop in this little skeletal horde. And all of these are ready to go with their notes about the critters, and they're in play, ready to interact with the players. But we've taken this 2D environment and we've added in these little 3D elements to give it some flair, something for the players to interact with a little bit. We've got some rock faces, we've got that ramp popped up, and now when Tussle comes out to play, she's got some movement modifiers that she can entertain and get busy with. So let's go ahead and take one of these mean old bone walkers and get it involved, and eventually we'll drop it into a puddle of blood. And so we have a nice little 2D environment. We have our monsters that are ready to go. We've got these 3D elements popped out of it, and that's what I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear your comments and any suggestions you have on what we're working on here. I thank you very much for watching.